So I wrote this in the description today, but if you are anything like me, you probably didn't have a great sense of math growing up. I certainly still don't. I continue to barely be able to do any kind of mental math in my head at all. And, there are a lot of reasons for that. But one of the primary values of math as a way of thinking is purely its ability to help us detect complete and utter BS. And there is, Laurel says, yay, math. I agree. There is a lot of BS going around. And I want to share a specific example, and I want to walk you through some reasoning about this. And I want to point out why a lot of times our initial reaction to something is misleading. So let me share this. I'm going to try to share my screen here. I'm going to share. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to share this screen right here. Okay, now this is from the Instagram account of a UFC fighter that I really like. His name is John Bones Jones. One of the greatest fighters of all time. Right. So he posted this on Instagram. Right. It's probably not his graphic. Probably got it from somewhere. Here it says, "I'm going to blow your mind right now. Type in any 3-digit number and then new cases on Google." Okay. So what does this mean? What is this talking about? Well, basically, if you go and do this, and actually let's share this and let's actually walk through this together. All right. So let's go to google.com and let's type in any 3-digit number between, 100 and 1,000. And, let's figure it out. Okay. So 3-digit number, I'm going to pick 756. And then he says new cases. All right. And what do you get? COVID-19 update, 756 new cases. PA reports 14 more deaths, 756 new cases. Okay, so it's like, okay, we immediately get some headlines about new cases of coronavirus. Let's do something else. Let's type in 1, 2, 3. Louisiana coronavirus, 123 new cases, right? 103 new Acadiana cases. Let's try one more. Let's try 444. Tarrant County reports 444 new cases, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what is the point here? Let's take away the infinite scroll. What is the point? Well, the point that's being made here is like, okay, if you go on Google, you type in any random number, you're going to find an article that's talking about coronavirus cases. Therefore, that implies that this is just they just did every single number between 100 and 1,000. So what that means is that it's kind of all being made up. This is some kind of, people are putting out content so that no matter what you search, you're going to find something about new cases and you're going to be scared. But they just did it so that no matter what you search, you're going to find it. That's the implication, right? The implication is that, case counts are sort of artificial, and at least whatever Google is saying, right? Kylie says, I just posted about this. Really? That's fascinating. I just saw this morning. It really drove me crazy. Kylie is a really excellent online marketer. I think online marketers kind of have this mindset already. So in any case, so Kylie, you could tell me if your reasoning was similar to mine. Here's immediately the way that I would think you could think through this problem in a mathematical way is, okay, if we're saying, all right, the fact that I can find an article with like every single 3-digit course count or case count that you could possibly think. Let's say, okay, well, the theory here is that is indicative of some kind of artificiality. It's indicative of somebody behind the scenes. Okay, so let's back up and we'll say, okay, if there wasn't any artificiality, if there wasn't anybody behind the scenes, what would I expect there to be? Right? Because we're saying it's artificial. The thing is, it's not natural, right? So if it's not natural, if we're saying, okay, well, what would be natural, right? And Kylie says there are 1,000 U.S., roughly 3,141 50 states. It's like 380 could be reported on any given day. And that is absolutely the point. Kylie has it absolutely nailed on the head. If you think about cities, counties, countries, you spread that across all newspapers, all websites, and then you add in any kind of, random nature of the distribution of cases, and then you add in so that every single day, for example, some newspaper might count. You say, how fast would it take for us to know that every between 100 and 1,000 is taken? Let's just assume they are. How long would it take to hit that number and actually have articles in Google for every single number? And the answer is probably not that long. Probably not that long. Probably could have done that without this. This is one of those things where the external appearance of it seems strange, but if you think about the scale at which we are operating, it's really not. It's like one of those things where say like, oh, I went on vacation to Peru and I'm in part of Peru where, nobody ever goes, and I'm walking through the jungle and then I meet a guy that I grew up with and he was my high school best friend. What a coincidence, right? It is, it's a coincidence. But the point is that, yeah, it's weird for you, but if you think about everybody that's ever existed, right? Everywhere that anybody's ever gone, what is the likelihood that two people that knew each other are going to meet in a weird spot? Well, it's actually very, 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 very high. So it's weird if we take out the individual instance and say like, oh, it's weird that, I typed in some random number and I found the article on Google. But if you back up and say, well, what is the base rate of everybody that's publishing anywhere? Is actually, you would expect there to be any random number, any random 3-digit number in any case. This is the thing about mathematical thinking that is so fascinating to me, is that you and I, if we just thought through that together, we didn't really do any math, right? The math, I just kind of, I don't know, I can't do it in my head. But as a mode of thinking is extremely valuable. And as Kylie pointed out, really, really, really good at helping you detect BS. And frankly, there's a lot of BS. And a lot of times, I don't even think it's deliberate. I think a lot of people just haven't thought through. If you like stuff like that, every week, Better Questions email, I send out one email a week. A lot about statistical analysis and theory and decisioning and fun. I try to make it fun. So if that is something that you are into, betterquestionsemail.com. Callie says, maybe it's a marketer or data thing. The conspiracy theory is maybe the most confusing one I've ever seen. I think it is a data thing. Look, I'm not good at math, but I work with numbers every day for my job, just as Kylie does. Kylie's an incredible Facebook marketer, right? So he works with numbers every single day. And you just you start to get an intuitive sense of it. And I'm still not good at math. So if you're not good at math, don't let that hold you back from learning a little bit about statistics or learning a little bit about logic or learning a little bit about mathematical thinking, because it is incredibly valuable. I hope that makes sense. I love you. Kylie, thank you so much for your input, man. You put it better than I did. And I will talk to you very soon.